Please be seated, everyone. Ms. Hughes, go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. Now, Todd, I just want to talk a little bit more about a few more things. So when you call 911 on November 10th, 2018, and you pull over, because 911 tells you to, right?
Yes.
And you pull over, and they tell you to get Amy out of the car.
No.
Or, I'm sorry, to lay her flat.
Yeah,
Because they want you to be able to do CPR. You remember that? Because
Yeah.
eventually you
Yep.
do some CPR on her. Is that
Yes.
right? And just so that we all understand, where is it that you perform the CPR on Amy?
I started in the truck.
In the truck. And are you in the truck until Luke Thompson arrives?
I'm standing,
Or I'm sorry, you're like leaning inside the truck. Would that be fair to say?
yes.
And is she seated in the passenger seat with the seat down?
Yes.
Or, okay. So when they tell you to do chest compressions, half of your body's in the car, and that's what you're doing. You're using your mouth and your hands to do that.
I did not use my mouth.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you're just pressing. Where's Tristan at that point?
I told him to go stand by the road to flag them down if they were coming.
So as you're doing those chest compressions, is anyone else there initially?
No.
And you're holding onto that phone and you're doing the chest compressions.
I had my shoulder holding my phone against my ear.
So at that point, the only people in the car are you and Amy, right?
Yes.
And at this point, you don't at all think that Amy's cheating on you.
No.
You confronted her, you put it to bed.
Yes.
You, even after the rumors a month later, you still didn't think she was cheating on you because she told you she wasn't, right?
Yes.
And even in those months, I know you told some people she was really moody. She was having some issues, right?
She had a lot going on all summer.
So because she had all the stuff going on in Ankeny, right?
Yes.
She was going up there. She was visiting a lot.
She had her grandma die. Her uncle had problems.
You said in those 2 months, in September and October, she was gone about 30 days.
There was a stretch in there. Yeah.
And she would come and go, but she was gone quite a bit, right?
Yes.
And things are getting a little bit tense at home.
No.
So you're not upset at all about this?
I was needing help at home, and
Right. And
well, I guess you could call it some tension, I guess.
well, and you're calling Eileen Fuller, Amy's stepmother, around this time, right?
Yes.
And you're telling her, this is hard, right? I'm harvesting, I'm
Yeah.
taking care of the kids, and I know
Yeah.
Amy's got stuff going on, but I need some help, right?
Yes.
And thankfully, you have your family close by, and they're helping a lot.
Yes.
But still, throughout those months where she's spending a lot of time in Ankeny, you're not worried that she's cheating, right?
No.
You know she's just dealing with her family, right?
Yes.
And would it be fair to say you almost like forgot about the whole thing with Jerry Frazier because you didn't think anything was happening?
I did not put Jerry in
And
at all.
So on November 10th, 2018, when this happens to Amy, you're not at all suspicious that she's cheating.
That she's cheating? No.
At that point, you don't have one worry that she's cheating.
No.
And when you're actually there giving her CPR and you're giving those chest compressions, all you're thinking about is your wife, right?
Yes.
You're thinking about how you're trying to save her life.
Yes.
And you're thinking you're doing everything. Because I think you even say on the 911 tape, I'll do anything, right?
When they asked me to do CPR, I said I'll do whatever will help her.
And you mean that. You'll do anything at that point to help save your wife.
Yes.
And you start those chest compressions, right?
Yes.
And you heard that tape when we played it the other day, right?
Yes.
And at that point, what are you thinking when you're doing that?
Trying to get her to come back.
You're just trying to save her,
Yes.
right? Todd, while you're doing those, I know it was kind of hard to hear on that tape, but you're doing those chest compressions. How long do you think you're doing them for?
Not very long, minute or two.
And then I think it's Deputy Thompson shows up, and then
Yes.
Does he take over or somebody else takes over?
He started,
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, can I publish a clip of the 911 tape?
Yes, go ahead.
And just for the record, Judge, this is State's Exhibit number 2. Now, Todd, here I'm gonna play you the part where you're doing the chest compressions, and I'm just gonna ask that you listen in between the chest compressions, okay? Now, Todd, did you just hear that whisper at the end of that?
yes,
And what did you whisper?
I couldn't hear it.
Okay, I'm gonna play it again. Todd, do you whisper cheating whore right there?
No,
So you don't remember what you whispered?
no,
Okay, I'm gonna play another clip for you. Do you know what you whispered there?
no.
Did you hear that? So I'm going to play that part one more time. The first clip is 6:53 of that second tape, and this second one is right at 0700. Just try to listen really closely. I just want to know if you remember what you said. Right there, do you say "go to hell, cheating whore"?
No,
So you don't hear that.
no,
You didn't hear at 6:53 cheating whore. You didn't hear that.
I didn't hear that word.
And it's right at that, after you hear a ping, you don't hear "go to hell, cheating whore."
No,
I have nothing for you, Judge.
Any redirect?
Thank you.
Todd, the state asked you if Amy wanted to quit the hospital after this first affair. Remember that question?
yes,
Do you remember her announcing to her friends and coworkers that she was leaving the hospital?
yes.
How did she do that?
She did a Facebook announcement, and she even had a party at a bar.
Okay. When you and Tristan realized that the pet carrier wasn't up by the shop door, what did the two of you try to figure out, or what did you decide to do, I guess is the better question.
We were just talking to wonder why it wasn't there. What, she either couldn't, we were thinking that she either couldn't get it out of there or she didn't even attempt.
She didn't even go over there in the first place.
One or the other.
Okay. And I'm just going to follow some questions along, so they may jump around. There was a series of questions about where Amy was located when you first saw her in the shed. And they also ask you about your knowledge of the advisability of not pulling something out of a person that's penetrated them. You remember those questions?
Yes.
Were you able to get Amy out the door with the fork stuck in her back?
There's no way.
So you didn't have a choice.
No.
You were also asked about when you last saw that fork, and you said something about the grass, on the grass, and that you moved it.
Yes.
In that shed, have you looked at all the photographs that the state took in there?
Yes, I think so.
Were there any children's toys in there?
Yes.
What were there?
There was a multitude of stuffed animals and play items on the wagon.
The kids obviously played out there then,
Yes, they played a lot.
and things might get moved out of this shed that shouldn't be.
Yes.
You told the state that while in the hog barn that morning, you never went to the office. Is that correct?
After she left, I never went to the office.
Did you go through the office when you left, though?
Yes.
Were you in the office when you and Tristan looked out and didn't see the pet carrier?
Yes.
There also was some questions about the closest point between the hog barn and the red shed, and you tell us again what that would be.
I estimated at 150 feet or so.
And that'd be from what point on the hog barn?
The very, very southwest tip of the barn by the door that you go in and out to the very northeast corner of the red shed.
And when you say the door, that's the door going into the office of the hog barn?
Yes.
Todd, why did you do the searches on or about, I think it was July 26th, for Jerry Frazier and his wife?
I was trying to find a way to contact Christy.
Christy being his wife.
Christy was his wife. I was trying to find a way to contact her.
So if the search related to Jerry, you had Jerry's contacts.
I had Jerry's contact, but I had no way of getting her phone number.
On some of those entries, those searches that the state asked you, a few of them about thrill of the kill, thrill of the hunt, hunt man, thirst for hunt, that kind of thing. You indicated you recognized those.
Yes.
And what did they relate to?
There was a quote stated in a movie, and it was actually ended up being an Ernest Hemingway quote, and we were trying to remember what it was.
Do you remember what the name of the movie was?
I think it was Predators.
Todd, did you ever have any doubt about you being the biological parents of your children?
No.
Do you have any reason to search for those DNA things?
No, I have no reason to.
When the state asks you questions about you contacting Jerry and his wife in July of 2018, they said, I think the words they used was, did you confront them about the affair? Had you concluded that there was an affair?
No, I did not.
You had concerns about all those text messages.
Yes,
When you talked to Jerry, did he convince you that there was nothing going on?
yes. I mean, for the most part, yes, he was very convincing.
Todd, when you were doing those chest compressions, if I understand you correctly, you had put Amy somewhat upright in the seat of the pickup, but leaned it back as far as it would go?
Yes,
So she was in a kind of a reclining chair position.
yes,
And you were holding the phone and doing the compressions at the same time.
yes,
You knew you were on a recorded line with a 911 operator.
yes,
Do you believe that you said, whispered, cheating whore or go to hell, cheating whore, while you were doing CPR?
no.
Were you frantic?
I was very excited.
Were you doing everything you could to keep her alive?
Yes,
No other questions?
Any recross?
Just briefly, Judge. Todd, that first search about the DNA is how to tell if a child is yours, right?
if that's what it says.
And Amy gave birth to your children, right? They came out of her
Yes.
body.
Yes,
And you also, your attorney just asked you about, you didn't really think they were having an affair in May. You were just wondering what's going on. I'm sorry, in July. You're just wondering if Jerry and Amy, if there's something, they're talking too much.
they were talking too much, yes.
So you didn't really think they were having an affair.
No,
But you did text Terry Stainer, do you think Amy's acting like she was before? Right?
if that's what I text, yeah.
And, well, you saw those texts, right?
I don't,
Do you remember seeing them the other day?
I couldn't see the screen.
Okay, but you, when you sent that text, you were referring to, is she acting like before, like having an affair, right?
Yeah,
And you called Jerry Frazier's wife. I know you called a second time to apologize, but you called that first time to see if she suspected anything.